Alright guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to Blue Point TV where we'll talk about football and football related stories. Alright guys, we'll talk about Chelsea and their transfer business. As you know, there is this player that Chelsea are trying to sign, they are trying to sign from Barcelona. It seems the deal has been agreed between Chelsea and the player. Now it's a young player, 18 years old, a striker from Barcelona. Barcelona wanted to keep the player, but it seems the player doesn't want to stay. It seems the offer that Chelsea gave to him is better than what Barcelona are giving to him. Now the player has a release clause of 6 million euro, and Chelsea are willing to pay the money. So they believe the player can be a very good player in the future. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, let's just talk about what Fabrizio Romano said about Chelsea signing this player. According to Fabrizio Romano, he said Chelsea reached verbal agreement to sign Marc Guiu from Barcelona. Chelsea informed Barcelona about the decision to trigger the release clause for Guiu this week, worth 6 million euro. Barcelona tried to extend his contract and change the clause, but Marc Guiu decided to try a new chapter. The deal will be formally completed later this week. Guiu will be part of Chelsea first team under Enzo Maresca for pre-season, not planning for Strasbourg. Chelsea see Guiu as big talent with huge potential, and also big opportunity with that cheap release clause. Now, the player is a young player, 18 years old, and we know Chelsea, what they do, this current Chelsea board, the new Chelsea owners, what they do now is to buy young talent. Now, for me, I don't know the player, I don't know how good he is, but according to report, they say the player is a good player, young, talented player. Obviously, for Barcelona, for them to be trying to give the player a new contract, maybe there is something there. Maybe they are believing that the player can be a top player in the future. Obviously, they want to give him a new contract and then make the release clause more higher. But then the player decided not to extend his contract. But we will see how this one will go. If eventually he becomes Chelsea player, because the deal will happen, I think. If eventually he becomes Chelsea player, if this player can be a top striker in the future. So we'll know about that. So your thoughts and your opinion on this signing. But I still think Chelsea will still sign a matured striker, maybe aged 20, 23 or 22. But I don't think they want to go for that experience in terms of 28, 27 years old. But I still think Chelsea will want to sign another striker. I will be surprised if they want to make this guy, or this player rather, the striker that they are planning to sign this season. But your thoughts and your opinion on this signing. Right, let's talk about Maatsen, the Chelsea academy player that will be leaving Chelsea to Aston Villa. As you know, Maatsen, Chelsea sent him on loan last season, January, to Borussia Dortmund, and he did very well for Borussia Dortmund. He even helped them, took them to the Champions League final. And then he has a release clause of, I think, 35 million pounds. Borussia Dortmund wanted the player, they want to sign the player, but they don't want to pay the release clause. They feel like the release clause is too much for them. But then it looks like the player will be going to Aston Villa. The deal has been done already. He has finished his medical. So he will be an Aston Villa player. And my feeling in this player leaving Chelsea, I feel like he's a good player. And as you know, last season, Poch did not really use the player. The first part of the season, the player was part of the Chelsea team, and he never played in his rightful position. As we know, he's a left back, and I feel like he's a good left back. Defensively, I don't know how good he is defensively, but in terms of going forward, I feel like he's a very good left back going forward. If you watch him play for Borussia Dortmund, you will see what I'm talking about. But in terms of defensively, I don't know how good he is because he's small. He doesn't have that big stature. The way he is in his body build, he doesn't have that huge stature. But as an attacking left back, I feel like he's a very good attacking left back. Now, I think the reason why Poch wasn't playing or using the player last season maybe was because of his stature. I think if the player was tall, I think Pochettino will be playing him. I think because he's small, he's have small stature. I think that's the reason why Poch never trust the player. But then Chelsea decided to let him go. They decided to sell the player. And for me, I feel like the reason why they are selling this player is because of profit. They did not sign him for anything. So he's from the academy. So they want to sell him to get the money to maybe balance their book. So I feel like that's the reason why Chelsea are selling the player. So we'll see how this one will go. We'll see how well he will perform for Aston Villa. And for me, I feel like it's a good signing for him going to Aston Villa, because Aston Villa, they'll be in the Champions League next season. Aston Villa themselves, they are doing well. So him going to Aston Villa, I think is good for him playing under Unai Emery. Unai Emery himself is a good coach. He's a top coach, for me, one of the best coaches in the league. So going to Aston Villa is good for him as well. So your thought and your opinion on the player. Do you think Chelsea could have kept the player, or do you think they did the right thing in letting the player go? So your thought and your opinion on that one. Okay, guys, let's talk about another young player that Chelsea signed. Now, Chelsea signed this player from Aston Villa. It's as if they did an exchange. Maatsen going to Aston Villa, and then this player coming to Chelsea. But it wasn't like that. Chelsea signed their player, and then they signed Maatsen. So now for this player, Chelsea signed him for around £90 million, according to the report. From Fabrizio Romano, he said Chelsea are set to sign 2005 talent Marc Kellyman on £19 million deal. Chelsea will sign Kellyman from Aston Villa in separate deal from Maatsen, who's joining Villa for £37.5 million. Kellyman will undergo medical test on Monday, already ahead of permanent move to Chelsea. Contract also agreed. He will sign contract until June 2030. Extra year option. Now for me, I don't even know this player. Obviously, it looks like he's also from the academy. I don't know him. I don't know how good he is. Based on the report, it's like he's a midfielder. It's kind of an attacking midfielder based on the report. But for Chelsea to sign this player for 19 million, I feel like the fee is too much, knowing that he hasn't really played. He hasn't really, it's not. I feel like it's unknown for me. It's unknown because he hasn't really played games for Aston Villa. Maybe he has, joined the team, their first team, coming once or twice in their games, maybe in Carabao Cup or FA Cup, but he's not a well-known player for Aston Villa. So signing him for £19 million, I feel like it's too much for me. I feel like it's too much. So sometimes we don't know this business that Chelsea, this board are doing, the new owners are doing. We don't know if they are doing the right business. Because for me, signing this player for £90 million, a player that we don't know how good he is, maybe he could be a good talent. He could be a good talent in the future. He could be a top player in the future. But I still think signing him for 19 million, I feel like is too much for me. I feel like it's too much. But like I said, you never know. He could be a top player in the future. So your thoughts and your opinion on this transfer business that Chelsea have just involved themselves into. We should not forget that Chelsea still haven't signed, for me, a top striker for next season. We understand what happened between, last season when we were suffering from scoring goals, Nicolas Jackson missing chances. And I feel like this season they have to fix that. Try to sign, a top striker that will score goals. Because I don't think it would be nice to go through the same thing we went through with Nicolas Jackson again. Now they missed out on Michael Olise. I feel like if Michael Olise maybe they signed Michael Olise, I think even if they did not sign the very best striker or top class striker, I think with Michael Olise, he will help because we know he can create chances. But now they did not sign Michael Olise, I feel like they have to try and sign a striker that can be clinical. It mustn't be, world class name, but someone that can score goals. if the chance comes, he will finish it. I feel like that's the kind of striker they have to try to side. So your thoughts and your opinion on what we just talked about, the transfer business that Chelsea have done so far, both the players that have left the club and also players that have joined the club. Your thoughts, your opinion on those ones. And also, guys, please, if you're watching the video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel Bluepoint TV if you're new, and also like the video. It's really important. And also, we're on Facebook, follow the channel Bluepoint TV, share the video as well. Thank you, guys. Stay safe while I see you again. Bye.